About 18 months ago, I made a video called One Thing Games Workshop Forgot to Balance. And this time it wasn't about rules, but it was actually to do with plastic waste that Games Workshop produced.
These are integral to owning miniatures, but no matter what we make, we are always left with stuff like this. Now this is from Terrain, but these are from some miniatures out of Warcry in particular. But did you know Games Workshop plastic isn't actually recyclable? That is a big issue. Most of their plastics are made from polystyrene for the molds, or high impact polystyrene, aka HIPS, because it's made of polystyrene, which is non-biodegradable. The only real way to dispose of it properly is to melt it at about 1000 degrees Celsius and just hope it disappears and it turns back into its natural form.
And a lot of people realize from this video that Games Workshop plastic isn't actually recyclable in most cases. It's only recycled in very specific circumstances, which means like most curbside trash collectors or litter collectors don't actually recycle them. So when you put them in the recycle bin, they end up in landfill anyway, which is why I made this video, because it was during the Team C's initiative, and it was really cool to see that we actually made, well, with the donation that I made as well, we actually made, this is my channel analytics, you can see, we made over $500 for the initiative, which was really cool to see. So thank you everyone who got involved. But since then, Games Workshop have responded. Now, it took them 18 months, but it's totally fine. But they put out this article yesterday called Recycling Trial Announced, New Life for Old Sprues. Your old sprues may soon find new purpose as playground equipment thanks to a new recycling scheme that is being trialled out with our recycling partner TerraCycle at selected UK Warhammer stores from later this month. So TerraCycle has quite a fitting name for Warhammer 40k fans, but essentially they specialize in specific recycling tactics that aren't like run-of-the-mill. They like take specific items to recycle. Part of the line when you search for them is innovative recycling company that has been a global leader in recycling hard to recycle materials. They offer a range of free programs, etc. So Games Workshop have partnered with this recycling company to recycle their plastic. So it's HIPS or HIPS plastic. It's a type of polystyrene that isn't normally manufactured unless you melt it at a really high temperature. If you want the full details, go back and watch the video that I'm going to link there, and there's a link in the description to the video that I did last time, which goes through all the details about the recycling of this product. But the Warhammer Recycling Program is a first of its kind scheme for Warhammer. Will see sprue bins popping up in various locations by the end of March, in UK only. This is a trial run. If you're not in the UK, understandable, don't worry, we'll get onto that. And it means that local hobbyists can recycle old sprues, paint pots, and even unwanted plastic miniatures. bro, those sprue bins are going to be like a gold mine looking for miniatures. It's going to be just like needle in a haystack probably, but it's going to be a gold mine if anyone can get through there to have a look before it goes to recycling. Full miniatures. Oh, mate. So this is what they put out. So they're saying that you can put plastic sprues and empty paint pots into the recycling bin at your local store. And why are they doing it? Obviously, why is obvious. They're looking after Terra. It's everyone's responsibility, us included. This is a small thing that we can do to help the effort. And this is a great thing that Games Workshop have announced. I'm like super happy to see this, because the amount of people that just, again, it's plastic, so I'll put it in my plastic recycling. It just goes to landfill. It's a really big problem. We all have to kind of like band together and do our little bit, and every little bit we do, it just makes a massive difference, because there's so many of us buying plastic right now. The scheme is simple. Bring in your used sprues and empty paint pots, deposit them in a sprue bin in one of our participating stores, and we'll take care of the rest. You can recycle any old sprue of plastic Warhammer models with or without components still on it. Again, gold mine. You can also hand over plastic Warhammer models as well as empty Citadel colour paint pots. The paint pots should be empty of liquid, but don't worry about cleaning them. The old acrylic paint can be recycled too. So you can just basically, anything that they sell that is plastic that you can recycle. So you can't recycle metal or resin because it's not plastic, obviously. It's not a general plastic recycling bin, and we can't accept other non-Games Workshop plastic miniatures because it might have a different chemical composition, which is, again, all totally reasonable. What happens to them? These will be recycled into new materials and products. The plastic used in Citadel miniatures is of very high quality and purity. There are loads of uses for recycled materials elsewhere in the plastic chain, including garden planters, playground equipment, or even table tennis tables. Table tennis tables, such a weird... It's so weird. Because Citadel miniatures require such high quality materials, we're not yet able to return those old sprues collected from stores back into new models, though we are investigating that for the future. And that's something that I addressed in the video before. I was kind of like, if Games Workshop could take old sprues and turn them back into miniatures, or just products that they sell, such as like water pots, spray sticks, I don't know, head holder things that they make now, any other random like not detailed plastic, if they could recycle it themselves and turn it back into product, that would be one, really, really good for them because they're getting free material and then making money off it. And two, we love it because it's like, well, oh, it's recycled. It's really good for the environment. It's better for the environment than it could have been. So I'm surprised that they're just giving it to someone else probably to go sell a product themselves, but it's a really, really good step for the environment as a whole. I'm just surprised Games Workshop have gone, oh yeah, we're going to turn it to paint pots. That just seems like water pots. Like that just seems like the biggest brain move, but you know, I mean, they probably will soon. The initial trial will be kicking off in a small number of UK stores from the end of March, and all going well, we plan to roll out the scheme to more stores and regions soon. So here are all the participating stores. I'm not going to read through them. There is a link to the article in the description, but there's quite a few. There's Warhammer World, obviously a big one. Sheffield, that's where I am. And then there's just like a bunch of other ones all spread out around the UK. And it says the Warhammer Recycling program will begin in these locations at the end of March. So hold on to your old sprues, paint bots, and unwanted plastic miniatures. If you show up before the scheme opens, you'll just have to take them home with you. It's just the image of so many people turning up with just like bags and bags and bags of plastic sprues. It's going to be ridiculous. Like, good luck to people running Warhammer stores getting all of these plastic sprues. Because if it's massive, like I imagine at the start, it'll probably be quite big and everyone will take their old sprues. It's just, they're just going to have an abundance of plastic just sat in boxes and cupboards or whatever, trying to get it back to the home base and go and get it recycled. But they all go on to say this recycling program is part of taking our environmental responsibility seriously. In recent years, we've made a series of other eco-led improvements to our sites and facilities, such as increased use of renewable energy, electric vehicle charging points, and more eco-friendly packaging. That's very true. That is something that was actually, again, mentioned in my previous video. This is 2021 when it was produced. In the investors report back then, it was talking about trying to reduce their energy consumption by, you know, just like the machines they're using, the lights they're using, just trying to bring their energy level down. And something big I did notice about packaging is it's true. Like, this is Strike Force Augustus. This is one of their recent kit set box sets that they've sold recently. Yeah, one of the big things I noticed recently is the fact that they use little sellotape tabs now rather than shrink wrap, which they've pretty much shrink wrapped all boxes beforehand. And obviously that's a lot of plastic waste, having to shrink wrap an entire box compared to putting on some little tabs on the top and bottom just to hold it shut. Yeah, that's something that huge that I've noticed recently, where that's just loads of cellophane or cling film or whatever type of plastic it is not being used, and now they're just using a little bit of tape that then is on cardboard, which can now get recycled anyway. Many Warhammer fans have already reached out to ask about the best way to recycle their old sprues, so we're delighted to be able to give you a way to do it. So a trial run in the UK, and if it's successful and it goes well and they can build playgrounds for a start, that's what the initial one they mentioned. Obviously they mentioned garden planters, playground equipment, and table tennis tables. Your old miniatures are going to get recycled, or your old miniature sprues that you don't use, and it's just really, really good. And I'd like, you know, I criticize Games Workshop a lot because one, it gets views, two, it's fun, but credit where's credit's due. This is a really, really good initiative, and it's really, really good to see. Now, there's going to be people in the comments saying, oh, well, if you drive your car and drop off the plastic sprues, it's like an overall negative to the environment because you're using your car and burning fossil fuel. And it's like, yeah, understandable, but it's like kind of like one step at a time. If you're making a direct trip to get rid of plastic sprues to get recycled, maybe don't do that. But you know, if you get out and about, you can take them with you, drop them off when you go and pick up a new model, for example. But yeah, as I said, it's like an overall positive, and hats off to Games Workshop for doing something really, really good for the environment. I mean, some people are also being skeptic and being like, well, it's just after the price rise, so they needed to do something good. And I'm like, yeah, but at least it's something good. So that's it. Just a quick one, just to give you an update about that. So thanks to Games Workshop for doing something cool. If you want full details about the plastic recycling, about the initiative that we got behind, then you can check out the link in the description to the previous video about the Team C's initiative that I got involved with. And yeah, that's it. So thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll catch you next time. Bye. That was really off tone. Bye. How do I say it normally? I don't know. I'm gonna end. Bye.